Well, film and theater have a lot in common, right? Yeah. Well, they both usually contain characters and plot and dialogue, but it's also true that turning a play into a movie, or at least a good movie, is a challenge for most directors.
Yes, we've spent a lot of money on bad ones, but BRIC Media is up to the challenge. And starting next month and running into June, a new course is on offer that's all about teaching playwrights and filmmakers to play nice. It's called Intimate Eye, Capturing the Theatrical Performance. And we're joined now by that teacher. Liam Billingham is an adult education specialist here at BRIC. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks, guys. Good to see you.
And we also want to welcome back our director of BRIC Community Media, Mr. Anthony Riddle.
Hey.
Hey, Anthony, Mr. Riddle, how you doing? What's up, Liam?
Hey, guys.
Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
So we were actually having an opportunity to talk before, and I said, it's such a great idea to bring this, intimate eye experience about. How did it actually come about?
Well, I guess, we had a lot of success with our documentary intensive class, where we gave people a lot longer time to learn the language of making documentary film, and rather than just teaching them camera, teaching them how to express a story properly. And so we started thinking about how we don't really have anything like that for narrative film. A lot of the times our experience is people come in, they want to shoot a narrative film, they don't think about the actors, they don't think about the script, they just think, I can get my cousin, set him up in front of a camera, I can cut it right, it's going to be a great film. But I had a theater background, and I know the difference when you have time to really work with the script and try and figure out how to bring everything out from it, but also to be able to work with the actors, to take the time to develop a performance. So our idea was to have a class that was based on a short script from Brooklyn playwrights, right, and to give time to have our students actually see what it's like to work with a director who can really work with the actors.
And then came Liam.
Yeah.
So what are you going to be teaching, man? Why is it so difficult, if it is difficult, in fact, to capture that theatrical sort of experience on film?
Yeah, I mean,
know who your cousin is.
I think Tony, keeping in mind, with what Tony's bringing up here, I have an undergrad in acting. And so then when I went to film school for my MFA, I would watch the way that directors would talk to actors. And it was always theater directors, that's 90% of the job, right? Is communicating in the right way. So when Tony brought the idea to me, my thought was, oh, okay, it's an interesting process. It's really a directing training, right? So part of the approach that we're going to take is something that I did when I was a film student, which was we would take the script, we'd bring it into the classroom, and we would have an open rehearsal. So the actors would come in, and the director would direct them in front of everyone. Yeah. Because the rehearsal process is a pretty quiet, and also it's not something that a lot of people see, but by creating kind of a classroom setting for it, bringing it into the room, I think directors can watch other people work with actors and sort of see the techniques and the way that they work. So it goes beyond casting your cousin and telling him to speak more sadly, or something like that. And it's also the basic language of film, which is figuring out the best way to portray drama, relationships, intimacy between people. Right. And theater does that, but it doesn't allow you the method of using a camera to highlight specific things. You watch a play, you generally are seeing everything in that proscenium style. This gives us a chance to get closer to that and watch people work through the internal process of whatever they're feeling.
Those people, where did they sort of come from? What was the selection process for the playwrights? What was the selection process for the filmmakers? Is that still ongoing?
Yeah, you're not doing the glass menagerie.
We're not doing it. No, not yet.
No.
Not yet. So we did an open call for scripts. And we received about 50. Okay. So we're reading those now. And then for the directors, we're sort of chatting with people. I'm chatting with some people I have from a theater background. We're getting recommendations from local organizations like Irondale Theater, which is down the street.
Yeah, we know Irondale.
Yeah. And then for actors, we're working out.
That depends on the script. So we've got to narrow down from about 50 scripts to about 4, maybe at the most.
Really?
Yeah. And
so you're going to, or you already have it?
We're looking at them right now.
And who's reading all these scripts?
A bunch of us. It's a lot of reading.
Selection team.
But here's what's interesting. Is you have some rules that go along with this.
Rules?
Yeah.
Okay.
All of this, we're talking about 4 to 8 minutes.
Yeah.
It all has to take place in the moment. We're not dealing with flashbacks and so forth. we think of it as sort of naked theater, you know, meaning that there's not a lot dependent on sets and costumes and so
Even
forth.
suspend their imagination just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, what we want is for the people who are taking the class to really get the sense of how you shoot a film. And we don't want them to be hung up on, you know, a whole bunch of special effects or, you know, is this a green screen? We want to shoot it black box, and we want them to really focus on the interaction between the people. That's why it's more theatrical. But on the other hand, just like you were sort of mentioning, we don't want to have it where you're just shooting a play that's taking place. We want this to be an actual film. We want them to think about their shots, think about how everything is set up, how to draw the most out of this short piece.
All this money my friends are paying for film school, and all they had to do was send Tony an email.
I wish I knew it 4 years ago.
How has this been done before? Like, can I Netflix something that would give me a clue as to what this is, or are you guys like creating some new lane here?
We think it's sort of a new hybrid.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Well, you don't see a lot of it. I mean, there was the show Horace and Pete that Louis C.K. did last year, which was kind of like a theater piece that was on his website. I think about that. Playhouse, what is it, Playhouse 50?
Yeah, Playhouse 90.
Playhouse 90.
In the golden age of television,
the
they
day.
did a lot of that, but they also used 3 camera setup. We're
Right.
just talking about one camera
So
setup.
it is a single
camera and preset
So
shots.
it's still open for actors and some
Yes.
filmmakers. The deadline is not passed yet. Just open.
The deadline for filmmakers to apply for the class is March 9th.
March 9th.
And that's at bricartsmedia.org/intimateeye. So they can go there and fill out the application from there.
So
I
what
was
kind
thinking
of-
about that. I was thinking
Well,
about it. I got the
to
email.
my
I got the
question,
email last
what
week.
kind of filmmakers are you? Can you be a novice, or do you have to come with a stack of things, or who's your ideal?
I think it's mixed.
candidate?
I mean, that's one of the great things about what we do here is we're really open. So we have some people who've done programs with us before that have already submitted. We have some people whose names I've never seen before. So it's really
But
kind
you
of,
will.
But you will.
Up and coming people you've never heard before. This is going to be so amazing and
So
fantastic.
kick us the email website thing again before we get out of here.
It's
I'm not good with
bricartsmedia.org/intimateeye.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Intimate Eye. We'll be looking for it.
Thanks, guys.
Just go
Thank
to the
you.
BRIC website.
Thank you.